Subscribe now. EU debates.
The Commission is answering a call which the heads of state and government gave us in December, and from Versailles, asking us to boost cooperation in the defence sector. Now, as has been announced before, as a follow-up to that, this new instrument is aimed at supporting, at a European level, using the European budget, joint defence procurement. There's a European Defence Fund, as you know, which is on R&D. This tops that up. And a permanent programme is in the offing for joint procurement, which this will lay the groundwork for. And so in this context, I think I can quite confidently say that this is a historic moment in the field of defence. Now, I'd like to give you a few elements about the objective of this instrument. First of all, we need to answer an urgent need. This has been created by the war in Ukraine, and we need to boost our collective defence capacity. On the 24th of February, as you all know, along with our allies, and thanks to mobilising the European Peace Facility, we were able to organise support for weapons transfer to Ukraine. This was an unprecedented effort, pretty much since even the First World War. Unfortunately, we have a sound cut.
Désolé pour.
Terribly sorry, we have sound problems, technical problems.
Voilà, est-ce que je suis revenu avec...
The Commissioner is back now. Well, as I was saying, very briefly to introduce the first part of this instrument, and just to repeat, this is answering an emergency caused by the war in Ukraine, boost our defence capacity. All member states, as you know, have answered the call of Ukraine, appealing for support in military hardware, but they used their own stocks of light, even heavy artillery, ammunition, munitions, anti-aircraft, anti-tank, but also armoured and tank systems, which then created gaps which have to be quickly filled back in. And through this joint European system, we're proposing a way at a European level that will ensure that we can deal with part of this rebuilding of stocks. Secondly, we want to avoid fragmentation. Many member states have, and this is to be welcomed, announced they will significantly step up their defence spending. 200 billion extra euros is a number that's been floated, but it's only one step. It's in the right direction, but it's just the start. But it's good news. And as I've said many times from the start of the Eurozone's existence, there has been a gap, a shortfall compared to the 2% target when it comes to defence procurement, and 1.3 trillion euros of shortfall in funding. However, if you're going to fund, you don't want it to be purely on a national basis, because that leads to fragmentation of arms procurement. It also might mean that you're not interoperable, which is bad, and there's the European Defence Fund, which exists to try and build a European integrated defence industrial basis, and it would go against the grain. Hence this instrument. This is a European alternative for member states. It is an encouragement for investment and joint investment, and it encourages such joint investment. We also want to help our industry adapt to the new reality, which is high-intensity conflicts are back in our neighbourhood, on our continent. This is happening in Ukraine now. Now, our current industrial base is not fit for purpose, right? It's not adapted in size, in scale, volumes to deal with these challenges we see again upon our borders. Member states need the same equipment, large volumes thereof, and there'd be a great risk if they started competing amongst themselves within themselves, which would jack prices up, and also ensure that not all member states might get access to what they need in terms of key capacities. So as we did for vaccines, we have to do a European effort. And we have to act as Europeans to meet emergencies, to share capacity, and to support a step-up industrial base expansion. Now, moving on to the main aspects of the instrument, and to be more concrete. There are 4 main points I'd like to highlight. We're talking about 500 million euros over 2 years, i.e. 2023-2024. The Commission, and this is very important too, the Union will not be purchasing. The EU budget is used only to encourage member states to cooperate. Second, we are reacting very quickly, going back to the start of the war, reacting fast. We remember this all started on the 24th of February. So for any joint procurement from that date on, this is eligible for the fund. It will support joint procurement instruments that cover at least 3 countries. The more the project has member states involved, the higher the intensity of aid available in order to have a progressive leverage effect. Fourthly, the eligibility criteria for the European Defence Fund will be used here. They've shown their worth in developing a competitive European industrial basis. There's a geographical balance as well in the EDIRPA, and the diverse industrial realities of our member states will also be taken into account. Finally, what are we talking about in terms of potential acquisitions? What types could be possible? Obviously, programming will be done with the member states on a case-by-case basis when the time comes. It could be anti-aircraft, portable, man-pad types, missiles, anti-air missiles. A lot of them went out of our stocks to Ukraine, so they need to be backfilled. Anti-tank portable, ATGM type systems, anti-tank guided missiles, portable anti-tank missiles, again, were a large part of what was sent to the Ukrainian front, where they showed how useful they were, as you know, but also light artillery, howitzers, munitions for them, 155 caliber, this French Caesar, the Polish Crab, those kind of larger weapons systems for artillery, they would be eligible too. So this is what I wanted to say in terms of introduction. Our ambition is to act fast. This is urgently needed. The national stocks have been run down. Member states, even as we speak, are drawing up their procurement policies, so we hope to be able to quickly start negotiations with Council and Parliament in order to get this instrument ready by the autumn so that it can kick in before the end of the year as soon as possible. That's all I have to say as an introduction. I'll now take your questions. Thank you, Commissioner.